Here we go. There we go. Right? Ah, excellent. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm Professor McCoy. Welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's good to be back. Been a while. But here we are. Let's get right back into things, shall we? Evening, everyone. Good evening. Right. I have, unfortunately, if you didn't hear me on Monday, I have unfortunately been a tiny bit under the weather lately, so...
Our Lord's tasty, good on bread and for frying.
Hopefully I don't sound too stuffy and whatnot. And if I do, it's at least not too terribly distracting. Gosh, it's been a little bit. Alright. So, let us see. We have some investigating to do. We have to ask around a little bit. A little bit more about the groups. That being these nasty folks who have been involved with this counterfeiting operation. And then perhaps by the end of, or at least sometime during tonight's stream, we will wind up going further and investigating the monastery. Because there is some investigation to go on there, because apparently someone from the monastery is heavily involved in this whole counterfeiting process. Now, counterfeiting is a very interesting crime to me. It's a very interesting crime from my perspective. Given that it is, under some circumstances, certainly... Oh, sorry about that. Under some circumstances, certainly criminal. In that it does have a particular assignable victim and all that stuff. But that is only when it's a case of fraud.
I'm honored that you should come to me.
When it's a case of fraud, or when it is... when it's a form of fraud or when it's a form of theft, and I can get into those particular cases moving forward, because otherwise, aside from fraud and theft, it is very difficult to, in principle, distinguish the production of money as an actual good, whether that's fiat money or coinage or whatever. Just to distinguish the production of money, the provision of money from counterfeit. Fraud, except for the charge of fraud, they are oddly and perhaps disturbingly similar.
I've got a few questions for you, Bailiff, if you don't mind.
Something to discuss.
Have you been having some trouble around here?
And what business is it of yours? Did someone complain? Who sent you here?
No one complained, though I'd be interested to know why you think they might. It was Lord Radzig who sent me. He'd heard word that some unsavoury characters are holed up round here.
Begging your pardon, but what the devil does Sir Radzig care about it? And I keep hearing the same from Sir Sebastian, and he's got no dog in this fight either.
Okay.
You have an inn, and the horse trails cross here. There must be many travellers come seeking work, and not all of them honest men.
Aye, it's true. Bedlam has broken out once or twice, and restoring order was no easy matter.
Has there been anything like that lately?
No, it's been quiet here lately. But now that I think about it, I don't recall coming across anyone here like that.
Nobody looking for soldiering work, maybe as a merchant's guard?
There's always one or two like that. But if they don't get the job, they move on.
Sir Sebastian? Who's that?
Sebastian Baron von Berg. He's here under monastery law to protect us against all this unrest in the land.
Why should he care about the city? That's not his jurisdiction, is it?
Quite true. I'm in charge.
Oh, he's the one who was
he keeps telling me
adultering with Johanka.
And I should be more vigilant. The goal of the man.
Interesting.
Have you heard any talk of strangers in the town? Maybe people acting oddly?
Nothing worth mentioning. Sure, there's been some talk about the miller. Folks saying they've been seeing him doing this or that, or people visiting him at night, but he's never done anything. He's a decent enough man for a miller.
I'll try asking him if he's
I
heard
mean-
anything.
He lives on the other side of the river, by the bogs. But don't go getting your hopes up. He might not be able to help.
I mean, if a miller's reputation precedes him, perhaps unfortunately.
I heard some recruiters are meeting in Sassau. Seemed likely they get up to mischief and people might complain.
Do you think that people here complain and I don't do my job? Nothing of the sort. Old Lederman's the only one that comes complaining, but I pay no heed to him.
Oh,
And what does this Lederman complain about?
Lederman is our local tanner. Lives by the quarry, which is where, well, some youngsters go there to wrestle.
They go there to fight and that doesn't bother you?
Why would it bother me? Much better to brawl there than in the tavern. At least in the quarry they can't damage anything but each other. And my catchpoles go by there from time to keep an eye on things.
I mean, at least
Thank you,
they're
bailiff.
just
Take care now.
at least they are participating in mutually voluntary combat rather than just beating up random strangers, which is something that teenage hoodlums could perfectly well be doing instead. Let's talk to the tanner in that case. Anyway, so the clearest case where counterfeiting would be criminal, would be, perpetrating assignable harm, would be cases of fraud, where someone is putting forward something for something that it is not, right? Producing something that appears to be coinage, but does not actually have trade value. Right? But here's the thing with that. It's only fraud in that case if it doesn't actually have trade value. So if it's a good enough counterfeit such that it can pass scrutiny, then it's not fraud, technically. Because you're not passing it off as something it isn't, you're producing something, a medium of indirect exchange and a store of value. Now, it might not be a perfectly reliable store of value, because someone could eventually figure out that it's fake. Fair enough. But for example, if someone were to get the mint presses, right, to get the little the mint dies, that's what they call it, the dies, right, of the coins of say Sir Radzik, and then they would, or I suppose of the king, I guess, and then just start pressing out groschen out of silver, out of an appropriate weight of silver. Those would be indistinguishable from real groschen, because they would be, because, well, the purpose of minting is that someone reliable presses out a particular weight of a precious metal in a particular shape and puts a seal on it to verify that, this is that particular, usually 1 ounce of this particular metal. In which case, great. Or sometimes it's a smaller division than 1 ounce, but regardless. So it's to verify that it's a particular weight value. And if it's a particular weight value, even if it's not official, even if it's not actually produced by the king, it's just the same thing that the king is producing. And it's, in that case, it is it's a violation of something like copyright, which is merely positive law. That's not actually a crime. That is simply a violation of the king's edicts that only I and my approved minters are allowed to mint. Okay, let's see what the tanner has to say.
God save. What can I do for you?
Tanner, I've heard all's not well with you.
It's better now. I must have eaten something bad.
No, I mean you've complained about some ruffians raising hell behind your house.
Aye, true enough. That lot's been a thorn in my side. And when I went to tell them to take it elsewhere, they nearly beat me to a pulp.
When are they there?
Nearly every evening. Every god-forsaken evening. Shouting and bellowing there till nightfall. And then they leave. Probably to get drunk.
How many of them are there?
How would I know? They make as much noise as a herd of wild boar in rutting season.
And did they all attack you?
That's awfully visual.
They knocked the stuffing right out of me.
If you want, I'll take care of them.
Well, you look like you could move mountains, but there are several of them and just one of you.
Perhaps we'll be able to settle things peacefully.
Maybe.
Maybe. They might think twice before kicking your arse.
God bless you God bless you as well, Disciple Mike. Welcome. Good evening. Yeah, I'm just gonna go
Perhaps
and
I can reason with
beat
them.
the hell out of these
Doesn't
guys
have
if
to
they
come
don't
to
listen.
blows.
Well, break a leg, lad. Or better yet, don't. But if you manage to pull it off, you'll get your reward. Don't worry. Goodbye.
Okay. So it's nowhere near evening. So we have other things that we can do first. Anyway, so if assuming that oh, okay. Okay. So we have to get to the miller. So setting aside the issue of basically copyright, setting aside the positive law aspect of counterfeiting. If you are counterfeiting usable currency, whether that is because it's actually the value, the sort of weight melt value that it claims to be, or because it is a convincing enough replica to pass scrutiny, then what you are doing is you're just producing money. You're minting. You're not counterfeiting. Now, that has its own complications, let's say. I say complications and not outright criminality, because it's not necessarily criminal to mint coinage. Otherwise, there would be no coinage. There'd be no currency. There'd be no money. Money is a technology. It's a tool. It's something that people make. It's something people create for a particular purpose. That is indirect exchange and store of value, primarily. Oh, wait. Which way should it be going? The other way, right? Yeah, this is radically the wrong way. This way.
Yeah.
Now, counterfeit can become criminal, either if it's fraudulent. So you're making fake money that won't pass scrutiny. So I make fake money, I use it to buy something from you, I exchange my non-money for your goods. You, anticipating being able to spend that money elsewhere, you're tricked. You can't spend the money elsewhere. You've given me something in exchange for effectively nothing, or maybe quicksilver coated copper or something like that. Something of little comparative value. So I've effectively stolen from you by means of fraud. Okay, if that is the case, then what I've done is I've committed a crime against you. Simple enough, straightforward. The other way that counterfeiting can be criminal is if is strictly in a okay. It only would qualify as criminal in a fiat money system. So in a hard money system like this is a hard money system. Like, money is money because it is silver. And there's a particular amount of silver that gets mined, and the mining of silver produces value, and that value gets traded for value, and that is the production of money. There's a constant, gradual increase in the stock value of money, but there's also a constant, gradual increase in the value of goods in the area, so there isn't significant inflation, or any at all, probably. Deflation, by the way, is the natural course of things, not minimal inflation. Something worth noting. This is actually something really important that we should probably remember whenever we're talking about inflationary economics. But in a fiat money system, fiat money has its value because not because it is anything in particular. It's made from anything particular that has a definite agreed upon value. It is arbitrary. It's strictly and purely arbitrary by the issuer, and the issuer is claiming that part of what the issuer is doing by issuing fiat money is claiming that it has a particular value, the value on the note, say. And if that issuer does something to devalue that money or those notes, then what they're doing effectively is committing fraud. They are devaluing their currency, issuing something that is worth less than they claim, and valuing what they have already issued at less than they had initially claimed.
What can I do?
It's another kind of systematic fraud, rather than a particular case and something like that. Again, terribly sorry I keep having to mute. I'm still a bit under the weather today. Anyway, though, yes, it's so those are really the only two kinds of cases where counterfeiting is actually criminal. And in this case, I think it would qualify as criminal because it is particular fraud, because these are believable copies, but they are not foolproof copies. Right? They're not real money. They're meant to pass themselves off as money, but ultimately are of lesser value and are notably of lesser value and would not be, they're not functionally indistinguishable from real groschen in this case. If they were just pressing coins out of silver, okay, they're pressing coins out of silver, they're minting. Great. They're a competing mint. There's nothing criminal about that. Because now, worth noting, if there were something criminal about counterfeit as such, then there would be something criminal about mining gold or silver or any precious metal. Because you're adding money to the money supply. You're adding to the money supply without I guess compensation to those who are already holding money. This actually happened with the African king Mansa Musa in the early Renaissance. I think this was 16th century. I think it was nearly shortly after this. It might have been a little before. I'm trying to remember exactly when. Either way, it was at one point a king from Africa basically traveled the known world, went through Europe, went through the Middle East, and into some of Asia, and was just giving away copious amounts of gold, because his kingdom had rich gold reserves. And he was just giving away gold, and this significantly disrupted the economy of Europe, because the value of gold plummeted because the supply of gold skyrocketed. And so what this did was it devalued the gold that a lot of people had on hand. It made their gold coins worth less because suddenly there was a lot more gold. Gold was more plentiful. That's not criminal. He didn't do anything wrong by doing that. He didn't actually commit any kind of fraud or force or anything like that. What he did was he gave things away. Gave away gold. Gave away his goods. He did a net good, a net positive for everybody, despite it having some negative impacts for some people. Okay. So that's what happens in a case like that, and that's why counterfeit in and of itself can't be criminal. It can only be criminal if it's a kind of fraud, and usually that kind of fraud in this time period, right, would be fake precious metals, copper, coated copper, that kind of thing. But in our time period, it's more like the inflationary printing money, so to speak. That's the kind of counterfeit that is fraudulent in today's society.
Listen, have you heard about anyone looking to recruit men around here, or planning some kind of mischief?
No.
Come on. I know how it is with millers.
Really?
I've been friends with a few, and they hear all the gossip.
So go ask them.
I doubt their ears reach all the way here.
Then it seems you're out of luck.
Surely we can come to some arrangement.
I'll have to pay this guy, aren't I?
Strangers.
So,
What do I have to do to get in your good graces, Master Miller?
Well, if I heard from those Miller friends of yours that you can be relied upon, and you're not a complete dolt.
Oh, fine.
I've got some goods here whose owners might miss them.
All right. Let's see what we can do about that. Good luck to you.
I don't, actually.
I'm Henry from Skalitz, and I'm looking to mill a bit of extra coin, if you know what I mean.
I expect Peshek sent you. And if it was Peshek who sent you, you can't be a complete dolt. I'll try you out. The tailor in Sassau has received some valuable brocade. Can you get it for me?
No problem. It'll be here in no time at all.
Good. It ought to be at his shop. Bring the whole bolt.
Okay, here we go.
You haven't heard of any recruiters around here, have you? People looking for armed men?
Perhaps, but I'll not speak of it now.
Why not? It's important.
Because we're in the middle of something.
Come on. Nothing bad will happen if you talk to me.
Perhaps not, but I'll tell you when we're done. My memory will be sharper then.
Right. Christ, it's like pulling teeth with you. I hope you're more generous with your groschen than your words.
Farewell.
Okay. I'm gonna go buy it from him. From the miller. Or from the tailor. I'm gonna see if I can just buy it from him.
Yeah.
I have tens of thousands of spare groschen at the moment, so I can probably just buy it from him, right? I'm on a quest from the Royal Hetman.
Yeah.
It is a quest of grand importance. No expenses to be spared. What are you doing here? What's this? What's this? Who's this here?
Well, look what's come crawling out from under some rock.
Ah, you got me.
What have we got here? Entertainment! Great!
Yeah.
What's
Hey.
the matter? Come on!
Jesus Christ, have mercy on me! I surrender, can't you see? Answer to my prayers, just when I wanted to vent my rage. Is that the best you can do? You shit! Damn!
Bring it on!
Oh, that's not good.
You'll get what's for.
Is that all you got?
Man, alright, come on, guys.
Bring it on!
Bollocks!
Come on then, Morton. give up, you hear? Kurva! Enough! You got me!
Give up your weapon, and you
Okay.
can
I agree.
Who's there?
Got a new sword. That's not great. Magic wares. Ooh, nice. Nice. Boots. Ooh, very nice. Ring. Necklace. Armor's kit. I'll need that. Alright. Well, I let most of them go, which was not quite deliberate, but fine. Not a problem. It's probably for the best. Let's see. Some corrosion. Arrows. Nothing that useful.
Who are you?
Yeah, that's right. Run. Where are you? I hear you. Oh! I think I shattered his pelvis. Also, I'm pretty sure that's the guy who ran away earlier. But very foolishly, he came back. Alright. Let's put some of these away. Alright. Okay. I need armorer's kits. Let me get the big ones out first. Oops. Ooh. All right. Onward. Oh gosh, excuse me. Sorry. Could not reach the mute button in time. Forgive me. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Sassau. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I also don't quite know how I didn't notice that before. I passed right by the large bandit camp. Large, well-armed bandit camp. Oh well. It's fine. Alright. Go chat with the tailor. Thief. Is it that guy?
Look. My God!
Stop!
What? Oh. Okay. Hold on. Hey, listen. I thought he was a thief.
Reports about you picking fights with people.
That guy. That's the thief.
Like
That's the thief.
Here, my boy. Well, you won't forget this in a hurry, because it'll take a nice pile of coin to fix it.
200.
This is surely...
Alright, that didn't work. Fine.
Damn it.
All right.
Fine, whatever. Now where did the thief go? He just ran off? We just let him get away. I tackled the wrong guy. Of course. Had to tackle the wrong guy. Well, serves me right. Alright.
I'm glad
God save you, good night. What can I do for you?
Can I just buy a brassard? No, I can't. Okay. Well, that pays for my crimes. Indiscretions, perhaps. Oh, wait, hold on. Those boots. They're on the horse. I don't think I can sell him the swords, but that's fine. Or the cuirass. But again, that's fine. Saxon Gambesonite. Sell that too. Oh, he can buy armor. Yeah, I didn't realize he would buy armor. Kind of didn't expect him to. Yeah, that'll do. Alright. So yeah, I am gonna have to steal from him. Okay, disappointing. And I assume that'll have to be at night if I'm to do this, right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. I choose. That'll work. Okay, let's try this. What? Really? My perk didn't just... Okay. Nope. Nope. Okay. Oh, I get a perk. Nothing. Okay. Oh, not supposed to be here either. Okay.
That'll be about all.
Some change back. Thanks.
Hmm. Pardon me for a second. Just gonna head into your back room real quick. Okay, not coming? Good. This is a pantry. Really? You had that robust of a lock on your pantry? In the world. Up there, maybe? Come on. Is it? No. In for a fine broussard. Is it? No. Hmm. Let me guess. It's in the shop. It's that chest, isn't
May
it?
the Lord watch over you, Henry. God's blessings. Take
I look
care.
ridiculous, but that's fine. It's not in the inventory. I can't just buy it, can I? No. Okay. No. I do have to come back at night. I'm glad being dressed, obviously like a thief doesn't really have, much of an impact. You have a nice long sword. Well, I'm at it. Whatever. Anyway. Let's swap back to our proper armor, shall we? Am I wearing my breastplate? Yeah. Cuirass. Oh, I'm not wearing pants. There we go. Better. Alright, let's go to the quarry and wait till dusk. Or evening. of dusk. I assume they fight it out over here, huh? Wait a couple hours. SHS, can you help me for a paper? What is Stuart Mill's idea on value theory? I assume you mean John Stuart Mill. Gosh, that is a bit... So Mill is slightly outside of my expertise. Do you mean value theory in terms of, like, economic value? Because if you mean in terms of economic value, Mill was primarily he was a utilitarian, ethically speaking, and so his value theory in sort of ethics was that things derive their value from, or not just things, but actions in particular derive their value from use. Right? If you're talking about economic value, he was, broadly speaking, within the marginalist sort of tradition. And so he held that value was value that we place upon things, which is, I mean, roughly the mainstream view of the time and afterwards. And I guess shortly afterwards, at least. Where am I heading? Unfortunately, I'm not as familiar with the details of his economic theory. I'm more familiar with his ethical theory, and that I can provide plenty of critiques of his ethical theory. Far less so, like I said, of his economic theory. Oh, his morality. Okay, yeah.
What do you need?
Why did you thrash the tanner?
Because he came by one day, lost his money.
Excuse me.
And then started on about how we cheated him and ought to give him back his coin. He was a right pest.
Okay. He told me that you jumped him when he asked you to stop making a racket behind his house.
Well,
I should wash my armor off for this, but that's alright.
But he didn't start complaining until he lost his money. Before that, it didn't bother him.
I mean, understandable, I suppose.
I heard someone was looking for men willing to do anything. Do you know anything about it?
Maybe. I work in the quarry, and they're always looking for extra hands to replace them that's got something broken.
That's not what I meant, but thanks.
May the Lord watch over you.
What about you?
I'm honoured that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
Okay, yeah, so ethical theory objection. So, the most fundamental kind of objection that you can give to a sort of John Stuart Mill utilitarianism is that it disregards anything. It disregards anything fundamental about our actions, about the nature of our actions and the nature of ourselves. No. Okay, to clarify, I said she is kidding. Do not cite. Oh my god! Don't cite a YouTube live stream on a paper. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. That will probably not help you. Now I can point you to some I could probably point you to some sources, if nothing else, in the description afterwards. Or feel free to join the Discord and ask in there. That'll help. As far as sources go, I can point you in the right direction there. But anyway, I would say the most fundamental dispute I would have with Mill, and this is a bit complicated, so you might not wind up using this in a paper, because, again, it relies on a lot of background. But just sort of as an overall objection, I would object to Mill and utilitarianism primarily from the fact that it... Am I jittery for all of you, or is it just showing up that way? I have no idea. Let me know if my face cam is really jittery. I might need to disconnect and reconnect it. Anyway, it's that it disregards the fundamental character of human actors and human actions as performed for particular ends, and that those ends are either conducive to or not conducive to our general flourishing, rather than producing happiness for undifferentiated persons, right? So that leads into another problem, which it because it disregards, right? Mill disregards, I should say, the the fundamentals of human nature and the impact that human nature has upon the ethical import of our actions, part of what that means is that his theory, that is, sort of levels out persons and de-individuates them, right? So I have particular kinds of obligations to particular kinds of people and particular people, and actually particular people, right? I have obligations to, say, my students that I don't have to students in the next classroom over, right? It would be unethical of me to skip class in a way that it would not be unethical of me not to show up to one of my colleagues' classes, right? Because I have a particular obligation to my students in a way that is based upon our particular social relationship that we've entered into. Mill can't really account for that, except as to say that what I'm doing is depriving them of a particular instance of happiness that I had otherwise intended for them to have, and they had come to rely on in some sense. Maybe it's that, but that's not what's fundamental about but why I have the particular obligations that I take on in a sort of social relationship. No, I have particular social relationships that have importance in their own right, not just simply because someone has come to rely on it. Right. So that's one thing. That's a really fundamental sort of objection, that it ignores, well, ethics. It tries to form an ethical theory without doing ethics. This is what I would attribute mostly to. I actually have a source right here. This book, that is Ralph McInerney's Ethica Thomistica. Now I do have a bunch of course lectures on this book, some of which address not utilitarianism per se, but consequentialism in general, which is the sort of general theory that utilitarianism sort of falls within. But it is, I think, a solid critique of utilitarianism because because utilitarianism fails to account for the particularity of human beings' interactions. So SH asks, can we use the is-ought from Hume to object to him? This can also be another use. I think you maybe can. I think there are fundamental problems with Hume's fork, or that's not technically Hume's fork. Sorry, with Hume's is-ought problem. Right? And I actually have a lecture I would highly recommend about it's something like the is-ought pseudo problem. Which basically shows that the is-ought gap does not actually exist. There is no gap between is and ought. That we can, in fact, derive ought statements. Well, it's not that we can derive ought statements from is statements, but that ought statements are the same kinds of statements as is statements. They are statements about fundamental reality. So you could use something like Hume's objection to J.S. Mill, but it's worth noting that I think Mill would have something like an adequate response to that, because just looking at it chronologically, for example, Mill was writing after Hume made his critique, and so what he was doing is he was trying to bridge an is-ought gap by appealing to utility, right? Appealing to the greatest happiness of the greatest number. Right? Because you'll note, Mill does not give a robust meta-ethical argument for why we should pursue the greatest happiness for the greatest number. He just assumes that is a good thing and it's something that we value. And if we value it, then great, we're already pursuing it, and so, well, that pursuing the greatest happiness for the greatest number is fulfilling the ends that we have already chosen. Something like that. So why should we choose that as an end? Well, it's either, the assumption, of course, would be that it's either self-evident or, well, it's just what you choose to pursue, and, well, that seems like a good thing to pursue, I guess. There are of course better answers to the is-ought gap, but that would be something like Mill's response, or a utilitarian's response, is that the pursuing the greatest happiness for the greatest number is good because we consider it to be good, because it's It's something that we sort of innately pursue. Now, later utilitarians, sort of following along after J.S. Mill, argued that that we necessarily pursue the greatest happiness for the greatest number because we value happiness innately. Simply, that's what it means to act, is to value what we prefer rather than what we disprefer, and so that winds up being a sort of tautology. It's an axiom, in other words, that we are pursuing the greatest happiness for the greatest number. But I don't think that's actually correct because it's not universalizable. So Kant brings up this objection as well, that ethics, for it to be reasonable, for it to have normative force, needs to be universalizable. And not just universalizable, but you need a principle upon which to universalize, which Mill doesn't have. Mill doesn't present a good reason to prefer the greatest happiness for the greatest number rather than the greatest happiness for particular people that you particularly care about for particular reasons. But he doesn't give that. I don't think he can give that. Because we as human beings do pursue ends for particular reasons and particular people and all that sort of thing. That actually, of course, brings a couple of objections. These are maybe more surface level objections, but I do think that they are quite effective. One is the measurement of utility, which is impossible. Right? The interpersonal measurement of utility is in principle impossible. Mill talks about utility in terms of ensuring the greatest happiness for the greatest number, maximizing happiness and minimizing suffering. The problem with that is that our individual values, this was really established later, sort of in response to Mill. Excuse me. But our individual scales of evaluation are ordinal. They are ordered as in terms of I prefer this to that, rather than I prefer this X amount and this X minus 1 amount, right? You can't assign a particular numeric value to any good that you would prefer, and you can't assign any negative numeric value to any evil that you would disprefer, or any harm that you would disprefer. So because of that, because these values are only ordinal, you can't compare across persons. So if you can ask a utilitarian, which is better, for one person to have happiness or somebody else suffer, right? Or, person A is, would it be better if person A is happy but person B suffers? Or would it be better for person A to be substantially less happy but for person B to be neutral, say? Okay. How a utilitarian would have to answer that question is, how much more happiness would A have, right, if person B is made to suffer? And if person A gets more happiness despite person B suffering, then great, it's the greatest happiness for the greatest number. You've minimized suffering by increasing the happiness of person A, even if you're adding suffering to person B. Yeah, but here's the problem. You can't compare the number of units of happiness, the utils A gets from this additional bit of joy. And you can't measure the amount of suffering that B has to undergo so that A can be X number of units happier, because there's no units involved. It's non-measurable. And so you can't calculate ethical outcomes like this. Now, this kind of can work out in terms of, like, actuarial charts, things like that, like lived years kind of thing. So if you can save somebody's life or you can save somebody else's life, you can measure, like, who will live longer, all other things equal. Gosh, excuse me. Insurance companies do this sort of thing, but insurance companies are not known to be particularly ethical, so I don't think that is where we should take our lead, quite frankly. So the measurement of utility, that's a fundamental problem for utilitarianism. That's one. The other problem is what I like to call the YouTube snuff film objection, which is that if I could, on, say, this YouTube channel, if I could get away with murdering someone brutally live on a live stream, and enough people say, I don't know, I don't have a lot of viewers, but maybe this one goes viral, my snuff film, and 100 million people get a slight little dopamine kick out of it. They enjoy watching me brutally murder somebody. Okay, great. I enjoy the fact that you have enjoyed, that all 100 million people have enjoyed me brutally murdering somebody. I happen to enjoy brutally murdering somebody. Again, hypothetically, I don't enjoy murder. As far as I know, I don't think I would enjoy murder. I should hope not. Regardless, though, if I did, and if you enjoyed watching it, even very slightly, and 100 million other people enjoyed watching it, even very slightly, all that needs to do is outweigh the suffering of the one murder victim. And so what that would mean is, if I had prior confidence that enough people would gain utility from watching a snuff film, such that it would outweigh the suffering inflicted upon the victim, then I would have a moral obligation to murder someone, film it, and put it on YouTube if I could get away with doing so. Now, the harm principle does avoid this. Good point. The problem is the harm principle completely abandons utilitarianism. So, Mill, sort of later in his writing, brings up, he doesn't quite get to the harm principle. But we get to something like rule utilitarianism, that we ought to obey rules that will produce the greatest happiness for the greatest number. But that's not utilitarianism anymore, because it's not acting for the sake of the greatest happiness of the greatest number. Now you're just talking about flourishing again. Now you're just talking about basically Kantian deontology. You're just reducing utilitarianism to another ethical theory. So that utilitarianism has already collapsed, and you're just desperately trying to recover it. The same with the harm principle. You can say, well, you can't intentionally inflict harm in pursuing someone else's greater happiness. Well, says who and why? There's no reason why not on utilitarianism. On utilitarian grounds, if harming someone is going to cause someone else greater happiness, you have an obligation to do so, because it will produce the greatest happiness for the greatest number. And a rule saying that when harming someone will cause more happiness than suffering, that you should do it, will cause more happiness for the greatest number. Because, of course it will, because every instance of harm you inflict on somebody will cause a net gain in happiness. I think this flaw is absolutely fatal to utilitarianism. Not internally, mind you. This is not an internal critique. This is not a critique of utilitarianism that it's internally inconsistent or that it's self-referentially incoherent or anything like that. It doesn't violate its own principles. It just comes up with... It's basically a reductio ad absurdum. It shows certain results that we know definitely are not the case. We know that it can't be ethical to just inflict random harm on people if enough people get joy out of it. As far as my videos go, first of all, look through the ethics playlist. That's handy. Let me write this down. After the stream, what I'll do... Excuse me. After the stream, what I'll do is I'll put put some links in the description, both to some of my videos that are relevant to the subject, as well as some external sources that I think will be useful. First of all, I always recommend, as far as like peer-reviewed philosophical sources, I always recommend both the Internet Encyclopedia of Philosophy, just Google that and you'll find it, and the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which you can either Google or it's plato.stanford.edu. Both of those have excellent completely peer-reviewed sources, articles on all these sorts of subjects, including, I'm pretty sure one or the other of them, I know one or the other of them, I forget which, has an entire page dedicated to critiques of utilitarianism. So, there we go. So, how did I do? Anything Anything else to add? Anything I should clarify on any of that? Anything anywhere else I could point you? Or, what do you think? Pretty good? Pretty bad? I mean, hopefully what I've criticized has been pretty bad, not what I've said, but you never know. All right. In any case, let's keep asking here.
What went on with the tanner?
We'll come back to it.
When things got lively, I wasn't here. The others were, though. Go ask them.
Well, what were you doing?
I've heard that someone's looking for men willing to do anything. Do you know anything about it?
If I knew you better, I might tell you. But as things stand,
God
be with you.
Okay, so I have to be an evil son of a bitch for these people to actually listen to me. Can't I just threaten them? I'd like to threaten them. SH says, so Mill starts off with happiness.
I can be of help to you, Knight.
Happiness is what we all desire, and we should maximize it. And goes into a contradiction with rule utilitarianism. Yeah, basically he abandons act utilitarianism for rule utilitarianism, because act utilitarianism has obviously wrong consequences. But then by adopting rule utilitarianism instead, he basically winds up abandoning the principles of utilitarianism. He's no longer pursuing utility, he's now pursuing a sort of rule-based ethical system, which is closer to something like deontology, something you'd find in Immanuel Kant or the like.
I heard you gave him quite a beating.
It's his own damn fault.
Really?
So.
He just came to tell you to go elsewhere.
That's what he told you? Bollocks! He came of his own accord. It was him started the fuss, after he'd lost all his money.
He really tried to have a go.
He was here betting, huh?
I wouldn't think he'd have it in him.
He tried, but he didn't have much luck. He does pack a punch. But landing it in the right place, ha! I'm not surprised he's got no children.
Whoo! That was a
I
good
heard
one.
that someone was looking for men willing to do
That was a
anything.
good one.
Do you know anything about that?
No, but I'm always the last to hear of anything like that. I'll ask Punch. He'd know. Take care.
Oh gosh. Yeah, SHS, his abandonment was in which of his works? This is where my expertise hits its limit, and unfortunately I can't recall offhand where he moves from act to rule utilitarianism and where he makes that argument. I can see if I can find it, like I said, after the stream. I'll see what I can do. But like I said, it's not something I know offhand. I'm not extremely familiar with the time period. So, Mill is technically out of my area of specialization, so hopefully I think it's in. Oh gosh, do we have it on my shelf? Sorry, I'm just looking and seeing if I have what it might be. Saying if I have anything jogs my memory. No, I don't believe so. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't tell you offhand. It was. I want to say it was something moral theory, but I could be way off base there. I can help more on that.
The tanner sent me. He says you've been causing a commotion at night, and I thought I might convince you to stop.
Ha! So all his whining finally found a friendly ear, did it? Let me tell you something first,
Why are you
whelp.
northern?
I'm the bailiff's man, and we're not doing anything wrong here. Old Lederman's only been whining like that since he lost a bit of silver. Didn't bother him before that.
He told me different.
You're the bailiff's man?
Of course he did. Otherwise, no one would help him. Go ahead and ask the lads. They'll tell you the same. It's God's honest truth.
I'll take you at your word. But what should I do now?
Glad I can help us.
The way I see it,
See you later.
you've got two choices. Screw that old liar and leave him be, or get down to business.
What do you mean about down to business?
What do you mean, get down to business?
Well, you may think you're pretty tough, and if you give us all a thrashing, we might think it over. But then again, we're no strangers to a hard fight.
If
I'm
I
wearing
break your
armor.
arm, then you won't be coming here for a while, will you?
But I'm a fair fellow, so I'll make you an offer. If you enter our tournament and win, which means beating us all, then we'll go elsewhere. If you don't win, then you're flat out of luck and have to leave. That's not so bad, is it?
I'm looking for work, and I've heard someone around here wants fearless men.
Oh boy.
Do you know anything about it?
Let's do this first.
I've heard they might be looking for a new knacker. So if you're not afraid of carcasses and the occasional pile of shite.
Thanks, but no thanks. Word has it someone's hiring mercenaries and other fighters.
Ah, well, you've heard more than I.
Alright.
If I wanted to join in, what would I have to do?
It's pretty simple. First you have to beat Weed. He's that not too dangerous looking fella there. But some nights, he gets a good rest and he's got God on his side. Then you can try one of those three. Doesn't matter which. And if you whip all three, you can test your mettle against me. Fair enough?
So the last match is with you?
That's right. They say a bout with me is no joke. Just bad humours.
Alright, let's go.
I want to fight you.
What did I tell you?
Okay, let's go beat up Weed. It's ridiculous. Hey there, Weed. Let's go to town.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
I've got my armor on. Best of luck, loser.
Yo!
Down he goes. Next.
Let's fight.
You look pretty good.
We'll see.
God bless.
Okay, here we go. This is
Missed. Oh, there. That hurt. Yeah. Come on, you shit.
How am I just grappling the hell out of this guy? Team Twixt, you're next.
Let's fight.
That wasn't bad. But let's... Good luck.
Yeah, let's just get this done. Beat the hell out of these guys. You got me.
Oh, ow! What? Ow! Fucker!
Such a bad kick. Come on, Henry. I mean, I get it, you're wearing armor, but, like, you should be better than this. You're a trained warrior.
What the...
Hey, Lanky, you're last.
Let's fight.
Well, second last, I guess.
Last time you got me good.
Oh, wait, I already got you? Oh, okay, fine. Okay, that was easy. Excuse me, did I already beat Stump?
What can I do for you?
I heard that someone's looking for men willing to do anything. Do you know anything about that?
Willing to do anything? Meaning what? Something filthy like helping the knacker? I wouldn't know. Go and ask someone else.
That's
Okay,
not
fine.
what I meant, but all right.
Never mind.
Let's fight.
I'm gonna beat your teeth in.
That wasn't bad. But now we'll take care now.
Wait, did I already fight him? I guess I did. Ow.
God damn.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask, what's his name? Punch. We good?
I want to fight you.
You put on quite a show. Can't say I expected it.
Take care now.
Okay, I guess we're good. Hey, jeez, right in the schnoz. Right in the faceplate. Ooh, ouchies. Got me. Got him against the wall. Okay, this is how to beat somebody up. You pin him against the wall and you just keep kicking him into it. I guess this is how it's done. There we go. You okay, buddy? Okay. Hey. Alright, I'm gonna put my sword back on. And my bow back on. Hey there, folks. Never mind.
God be with you.
Can you beat him without knocking him unconscious? Oh no, he's gonna go wake him up for me. Okay, good. Thanks, Betwixt. You punch my boy.
That was pretty good. I didn't think you had it in you.
You were really good. I've got to hand it to you. Most lads don't make it past me. So listen, I want to tell you something.
What's that?
There are people here looking for really tough men.
Oh, here we
I'd
go.
say you fit the bill. So when you walk through town this evening, if there's a light in the church, go in and wait a while. If they like the looks of you, They might give you some work.
Okay.
Thanks. I'll think about it.
Alright.
Look here, lads. I hope I won't be seeing you around here again. Go and find some other place for your games.
All right. We'll go. But if you want to fight again, you're always welcome. I bet you'll come off worse next time.
It's anything's possible, I suppose. Not likely, but possible. Alright, let's find somewhere to actually bathe, because... Whew! Make a mess. Well, it's raining. That might just do it. There's a light in the church. Oh, God! I went through the river. Did that do it? That's the tanner. Oh. Speaking of, maybe I can talk to him. Nope. Just kidding. So is there a light on in the church? There we go. I saw an article about an article about RPGs where you can kill everyone, where every NPC is killable, and this one was high on the list for some, well, not for some reason. I mean, for obvious reasons, because you can in fact kill anyone. Not that you should. It almost entirely defeats the purpose of the entire game, but you can in theory. What is this? Oh, St. Andrew. Okay. Use.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done
Ah.
on earth as it is in
Amen.
heaven. What?
So, you've been looking for us, eh? What is it you want?
That's a nice sword. I really like that sword.
I hear you're hiring men who don't mind getting their hands dirty.
Is that so? And where did you hear that?
Taverns and the like? People talk?
Well, that's a pretty tale. But no one in any tavern told you to come here and wait, did they? So let's have it. Who told you?
I don't recall his name, but he was one of your friends. He said that he couldn't take me straight to you, that I had to go through the church.
He was right about that. But he still said more than he should have.
I know my way around.
Okay, then.
You won't go wrong with me.
Spare me the boasting. I've got a test ready for you. Let's see how you handle it before you tell us how wonderful you are.
What test?
Nothing complicated. We used to take anyone who looked like they could keep their head on straight. But not now. Now you can only join if you do what we tell you.
Which is what? Steal something?
Nah, not theft. If you want to join us, you have to kill Pius.
Who's Pius? And why should I kill him?
That's none of your business. But I'll tell you anyway, because it's an instructive tale. Pius was one of us, but he fucked up.
How? Did he steal something?
Yeah, that was part of it. Stole some money, ran away. A few boys died over it. Showed a distinct lack of loyalty. And as soon as he's dead, you can join us.
I'll have to find him first.
You don't need to find him. We know where he is.
Then why haven't you killed him yourselves?
It's quite a test. He's hiding in a monastery.
With the stable boys? It's not hard to get into the grounds.
No, not there. Well, he would have been dead long since. He's in the, cloister, or whatever it is.
But only monks can get in there.
Just monks and pious. He's an educated bastard. Seems he used to be a priest, but it didn't quite work out.
Murder someone in a monastery? Have you gone mad?
Murder's a sin as it is. Doesn't really matter where you do it.
Yes, it does. I'd be spilling blood on hallowed ground.
It does matter.
Well then, knock him senseless, drag him outside, and finish him off where it's less sacred. I don't give a damn where you do it, just as long as he ends up dead.
That's wrong too, but I suppose somewhat less so. I mean, there's this whole concept of sanctuary, that that sacred ground is a sanctuary because violence is not to be done. It's intrinsically blasphemous, really sacrilegious, and therefore and ultimately blasphemous to commit violence on sacred ground, even if it's justified violence, right? And so this is where the doctrine of sanctuary, the legal doctrine of sanctuary, comes from. This idea that if you could seek shelter, you can seek sanctuary in a church, in consecrated ground, and the law will not come in after you. Now, this has practical reason. There are practical reasons behind this too, from a religious perspective, that you don't want to, for example, discourage someone from sacramental confession if they have a very good reason to go, and if it can be, a trap by the law, then that will discourage that sort of thing, and you shouldn't be obviously discouraging that sort of thing. Which is another, also similar to one of the reasons for the seal of confession as well. You don't want to discourage. You don't want to give people a reason not to go to confession, because that has nasty spiritual consequences.
And do you have any other test?
We're not hiring stable boys. We want men who are prepared to do anything. And this is the toughest task we've got.
So how many men have you already sent?
Just a handful.
And what happened to them? Did they hang?
Just the first one. The others turned tail. Guess they didn't have the stomach for it.
And how am I supposed to get into the cloister?
You'll think of something. Maybe there's a secret passage. I've heard there's some cave underneath. The cave of St. Procopius. There might be a way into it from outside.
And do you have any other ideas besides secret passages?
Well, there is this one fellow been hanging around the taverns. Supposed to join the monastery soon. Might be he could help you somehow. I'd try talking to him if I were you. And if he doesn't help, knock him on his ass and take anything he's got that you could use to pass yourself off as him. A letter of admittance to the monastery, or whatever.
How will I recognize Pius?
He won't have been there long. He should be the only new one there.
But what if there are others? What does he look like?
Normal. He always went about well dressed and had a fine looking dagger.
Yes, except he'll be given a robe and they'll take his knife.
Then you'll have to try and figure out which one of the novices it is, and get him to betray himself. Try getting him drunk. Then send him straight to hell.
Get him drunk? In a monastery?
We're better. There's more wine there than in the royal cellars. And I doubt he's suddenly stopped drinking.
Can I just not? I'm wondering what happens if I just say no.
I wanted to join up with you, but that's too much. Even for me.
Well, lad, the trouble is there's plenty of us already. So now we're only looking for the toughest and wiliest bastards we can find. So, if you're not up to the job...
What?
I suppose I ought to kill you. Just for peace of mind, since you already know so much. Maybe I should toss a coin.
I won't tell a soul.
If you whisper a word of it to anyone, it'll be the last thing you ever do. Of course, there's another way you can get us off your back.
How?
Go to the monastery, slit Pius's throat, take his dice and money, and then come to the swamp and stay there overnight.
I see.
God be with you, lad. See you later.
I wonder if I can approach and tell Pius. Basically fake his death. Key? Interesting. What's the key about? Okay. Let's see. I started poverty, chastity, and obedience. Alright, so I should tell Radzik first, right? Report this in.
Hey.
Oh, right, I forgot I need a torch.
Here in the dark without a light?
Right, forgot. Sorry about that. Oh. Let's, sneak on in. The world? There we go. There's no brocade. Is it brocade? Brocade? Where the hell is this thing? There's no one in here. Okay, it's got to be in one of these, right? We shouldn't have a torch lit with the door open. Close that. Nope. Wait, is it quest items? No. Gotta be this one. No. This one. Okay. Okay. What in the world? Uh-uh. Oh. Okay. Sure. Okay, where's it telling me to go? It isn't that. I don't get it. It's a bolt of fabric. Pet dog. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. Okay, well, I give up. I give up. Oops. Okay. Well, that's fine. Give up on that. Alright. Maybe we'll come back to that later. Alright. This is what? Talk to the young man who's supposed to enter the monastery. Report to Sir Radzig. What else am I supposed to do? Wait, actually, hold up. I have some points. Dreadsteed. Faster when wounded. Meh. Skittish in storms. Not really. Racehorse. Oh. I honestly don't want either of these. I guess Dreadsteed because it doesn't have any negatives to it. Oops. Repairman. Easier but drunk. Lucky Thief. Lockpick breaks. Lock instantly. Let's go with Repairman. Repair broken lockpicks. Why not? Alright. Stinger. Go to the mill. Oop. Not straight to the mill. Something's happening. An obstacle.
Ai, te kutya! Most megkapod! Most megkapod!
Jeez, these guys are...
Nem vagy képes többre!
Comme c'est dit. No, hogy a fasz!
Ow, hit with an arrow, didn't I? How does he see me? Whoever's shooting me with an arrow. Where's the bastard? There he is. Oh, no, you don't. There you go. Down you go. That's it, right? Hey. Oh. Well, good thing I got here first. That guy would have been toast. Jeez. Doesn't help my health at all. Alright, let's see. Grab your monies. Sausage. Wine. I got some wine already, I'm alright. How did this guy how was he carrying a torch? He was using a bow. I don't quite understand that, but okay, whatever. It's fine. He's dead, it doesn't matter. Where'd my horse go? There you are. Okay. Now, let's continue alongwards. Shall we? Yeah, let's... Yeah. Let's go. Ambush. Really?
What do you want here, eh? This is my room. I'll kick your...
Ooh, got me. Okay, well, they were drunk, so that doesn't feel too nice. I probably could have avoided them. I didn't. Fine wine, wow. Actually, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna repair some stuff. Repair some stuff. I'm gonna need these. And... Ooh. Nice. Oh man. Okay. Okay. Onward we go. Ah, good morning. All right. So, anyway. Maybe Teresa can fix my shirt. Jacket. Still asleep.
What? No, go away.
Okay. Well, here's what I'll do. I will sit. I'll drink some wine. Measurement 18. No, can't do that. Never mind. Maybe I won't drink wine. Just kidding. Let's just sleep for a couple of hours. Yeah, it's fine. We gotta go see Sir Radzig while we're here. That's what we're here for, really. Hey, these crazy criminals want me to murder a monk. Is that okay? I mean, that's the thing. It would be... That's the thing. Even if it would be, sanctioned by Sir Radzig, yes, that would make it something like an execution. Really? Still asleep? Fine. Another hour. That would make it something like an execution, but again, we encounter the sanctuary problem. Right? That the only way of really accomplishing this would be going into sacred ground with murderous intent, or even if not murderous intent, right? Even if it were like a sanctioned and a legal and a justified execution, which I don't think it would be in this case anyway. But even if that were the case, it would still be unjust. It would still be sacrilegious because it is an affront to God. It is intruding upon the sacred space.
I know this is your favorite.
It is indeed. Thank you.
Schnapps? Yeah, schnapps.
I've got something that needs stitching up. Could you do it for me?
All right. I can't have you walking around in torn rags, can I? Show it here.
Yay! You fixed it. I think. All right, let's go talk to Sir Radzig.
Yeah.
Our wonderful, glorious liege. Up there somewhere. Oh, excuse me.
Hey.
There you are, Sir Radzig. I'll just wait.
Good to see you, lad. Sir Hanush told me you won his tourney. Good job, Henry.
You're here.
Sir, this investigation into the Neuhof massacre.
Oh my god, this is still about the Neuhof massacre, isn't it?
I tracked down a gang of robbers who recruited killers for Pribyslavitz. They know the Horsons who torched Neuhof.
That's excellent news. Did you find out any more?
So far, not much. If I'm going to infiltrate them, I have to do what they say. That means murdering one of their former cronies, a fellow they call Pius. Apparently he was at Neuhof too.
You have to kill a criminal to prove yourself to them? Huh. I don't much like the sound of it.
That's not the worst of it. This Pius is hiding out in the monastery pretending to be a novice. I'd have to get inside the cloisters to get at him.
Good God above, that's another matter entirely. They don't let just anyone into the cloisters, and the abbot won't give up any of the novices.
Of course not.
Secular law has no jurisdiction inside the monastery. But this is the second time that something untoward has happened there. First the counterfeiters, now this. I'd be glad to have someone take a look inside.
Okay.
What should I do with Pius once I find him?
Don't kill him. Bring him to the bailiff in Rattay. He'll interrogate the man and give him a fair trial.
It doesn't sound like an easy task, sir. Getting into the cloisters, finding Pius, and then getting him to the bailiff.
Far from it, lad. But I have confidence in your abilities.
It seems like the only way to find Pius is to join the order. Damned if I know how, though.
A bit of meditation and learning would do you good. If it's really the only way to
Thank
get
you,
to him,
sir.
then you'll have to do it. I'm sorry I can't be of much help. Sadly, my relations with the monastery aren't entirely congenial. You'll have to figure something out for yourself. Goodbye.
Okay. So that's the thing. If we do go in, presumably not making, solemn vows, or not making permanent vows, because that's actually the thing. There's temporary vows or provisional vows, I think, for the first year or two. At least most monasteries. I don't actually know what order this is. I'm most familiar with Benedictines. But there's provisional, basically short-term vows, and then there are permanent vows. And the permanent vows are permanent. They're let's get rid of that. They can't be reneged upon. It's basically impossible. They are binding indefinitely for the rest of one's life. But let's do for it. But we need our we're on our horse. Okay, yeah, let's go. Oh wait, let's switch swords again. Then, okay, Sassau. All right. Anyway, yeah. So it's if Pius can be convinced or cajoled or even tricked into leaving the monastery, suddenly he comes under the jurisdiction of secular authorities. And if he leaves of his own will, even if that will is coerced in some way, then that is no longer per se violating the sanctuary. This gets into some really murky ethical territory. It's basically like tricking or presenting an ultimatum, or that sort of thing, cajoling or coercing somebody into self-incrimination, because that's effectively what's going on here. Which is, it largely, I think, depends on the means by which it's done. And this is going to be something worth looking into, because again, I'm not hardcore dedicated here to doing no wrong, ethically speaking. A lot of Henry's wealth is stolen. Let's just say that. Although not nearly the majority. But in any case, it is certainly wait, let's sell some things first. Hold on. Things to sell first. Before we go into the monastery and make our vow of poverty. Let's see. Go. That. And those, that. There we go. We sell all this.
God save you. What can I do for you?
Take care now.
I mean, that's fine. Nice. Here. Excuse me. But it is worth, it is certainly going to be plenty to discuss, plenty for us to talk about when, if and when Henry is in a situation where he has a, let's say a political obligation to do something unethical. Because he has, sworn obedience to Sir Radzig. And so he has the Order Followers dilemma. The problem of taking an oath of obedience is, what if the person you have sworn to obey demands that you do something unethical? You're in a bind, because you could either do the unethical thing, which is wrong, or you can break your oath, which is wrong. Tavern Brawler. Carl? Who's Carl?
I've only got 2 hands.
Carl.
Good day to you. What do you need?
Are you Carl by any chance?
I am. Why do you ask?
I've heard that you're bound for the monastery.
Yes. Yes, it's true. But I've convinced my faithful guardian, Manfred, to give me a few more days of freedom. Mind you, he won't let me visit the brothel. So instead, I'm devoting those days to the demon drink.
Enjoy it.
With whom do I have the honor of speaking?
My name is Henry.
Pleased to meet you, Henry.
Could we speak in private? I have some, issues with the monastery.
Really? Well, I'd love to talk about it, but we won't have privacy as long as Manfred here has his head permanently stuck up my arse. Get rid of him for me, please. Take care now.
Hey, Manfred.
I'm honored that a knight such as you takes an interest in me.
You're Manfred, the young lord's guardian?
Indeed I am. Why?
Yeah, let's
I've
just
been
learn
looking
more.
for you two for quite some time. I've been sent by the young lord's father with a message intended only for him.
Has my lord changed his mind at the last minute? Who are you? I've never seen you before. You look trustworthy enough. I'll leave you two alone for a little while. God be with you.
That was easy. Hey, Carl. Yes, I know. You're waving. You don't need to wave. We're good.
I'll have a beer.
All right, Carl.
A tankard of ale for me.
Manfred's taken care of, just as you wanted.
Thank
Cheers,
God.
Nicholas.
He won't let me out of his sight for a second, and he's itching to get me in the monastery so he can head back home.
Why are you being sent to the monastery?
Like every lusty young
assume you don't
lad,
want to.
I'm fond of fair maidens, but I got too fond of one, and let's just say
Oh,
she was,
boy.
Indisposed for 9 months.
But they don't send you to the monastery for that.
They do, when it's the daughter of the Lord of your feet.
Shit.
Shit. is putting it mildly. The Lord of Bukova was less than pleased. He knows he'll never marry off his daughter now, so he gave father a choice. Either pay him 1,000 groschen in compensation, along with my balls on a silver platter, or pay 1,000 groschen and put me away somewhere no one will ever see me again.
Well, I mean, justified, I suppose. Why not pay 1,000 groschen and marry her? Like, arrange a marriage. It seems like you're both nobles, and there would not be a problem with that, would there?
Why does your guardian never leave your side?
So I don't run away. Of course, I'm free to walk around, but he watches every step I take, and won't stop until I'm behind the monastery walls.
Well, he's not watching you now.
What good is that to me when he has all the money, and even my saddle and riding cloak under lock and key?
Good point.
What if I entered the monastery instead of you?
What? Voluntarily? You don't look like someone who'd want to spend the rest of his days on his knees praying. Well, that's your problem. You can only enter the monastery if you know how to read and write, and if you have a special writ from the abbot. That's a letter confirming they know who you are and that they've accepted you.
So you give me your writ? I'll just tell them I'm you.
Manfred has the writ. You'd have to take it from him, but he only puts it down when he sleeps.
So I'll steal it and then you can disappear.
Disappear? Bare-arsed. What the hell would I do? I don't know how to work, I have no money, and that old bastard's even taken my cloak. He has me in the palm of his hand.
But there are poor people everywhere and they get by somehow.
If I have to choose between hunger and poverty on one hand and the monastic life on the other, I'm afraid the monastery wins. If I could only steal that old man's pouch, I'd be gone faster than lightning and no one would ever see me again.
That's all then.
Farewell.
This is ridiculous.
I'd like to speak to you about something.
What's on your mind?
But he doesn't want to be a monk.
I know. Unfortunately, there's no other way. You see, he gave the Lord of Bukova an unwanted grandchild. He can count himself lucky he wasn't castrated straight away.
But normally you just
that's
need to pay
fair.
some form of compensation for that sort of offence, don't you?
Yes, 1,000 groschen. But a boy would keep chasing after women, and who knows how it would all end. The monastery really is the safest
I mean, that
place
is
for him.
true.
I hear you've got a writ signed by the abbot granting entry to the monastery.
Indeed I do. What of it?
I need it.
What good would it do you? You don't want to become a monk instead of him, do you?
Yes, I do actually. But I'll need that writ to do it.
Now that's funny. I've never heard such nonsense in my life. The boy must enter the monastery, and there's no way around it. If you want to become a monk as well, you'll have to earn your own place.
What if you let him run away?
The Lord of Bukova would have me whipped. Karl isn't slipping through my fingers.
What if I give you a few shiny groschen for that writ?
Could you give me enough to compensate for all those years of pay I'd lose?
Yes?
What if I give you a few
Could you give me enough to compensate?
Yes, I could. I have a lot of money.
Hand over that writ of acceptance right now, or things will get ugly.
Pardon me? I wouldn't give you that writ even if you threatened to kill me. Honor and duty won't allow it. Take care now.
Okay.
There's another thing that interests me. Why don't you just run away?
Bare-arsed? What the hell?
But there are
Okay.
poor people.
If I had...
Okay, he doesn't want to be poor.
Hey, who's there?
Can't believe that worked. Here, money.
I've got what you need.
Excellent. Give me that purse. But you're still going to need that rent.
Maybe if you run
won't
away,
get into the monastery
he'll just
without
give it to me.
Here you are.
Good luck, no matter what you plan on doing with those monks. Best be on your way now before Manfred finds out that he's been robbed.
And what are you going to do?
Got it for you right here.
Get my things together and disappear. I want to be as far away as possible before that old man even knows I'm gone. May the Lord
Okay.
watch over you.
My pleasure.
Hey, he ran away. Can I have the writ now? I don't know if this is gonna work. It's probably not.
There's still something.
What's on your mind?
What if I give you a...
Could you give me enough to...
Okay.
What if you let him...
The Lord of Book...
Thanks.
Take care.
Okay. Another one. Down the hatch. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and sleep off the drunkenness at the monastery, because why not? I can just go there. There's beds. Whee! This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy... Okay, the guy has a point that... that going to live in the monastery is not the worst thing that one could do. Certainly. It beats a lot of otherwise viable alternatives. Honestly, it really... I would even probably say it beats working for a living. Particularly within this social context, becoming a monk and living in a monastery is I would say it's certainly not luxurious, but it's a safe and stable existence, which is really quite valuable. That's certainly a worthwhile thing to pursue. Like all of the merits, the religious merits aside, that's certainly. It's a fair and decent life, and even, I mean, realistically, even in the modern world, there's nothing like monastic life has serious benefits even in the modern world, just given its simplicity and stability. Stability being a real serious one, because again, monks have this very regimented lifestyle that there's a real draw to that. There's a serious draw to that. And I mean, I find it particularly appealing, really, of just the same sort of liturgical cycle of living and existing in a sort of an ordinary in the sort of liturgical term and predictable sort of way. there's a great deal to admire about that.
I'm
that
Carl.
way of life.
I'm supposed to enter as a novice.
We expected you sooner. Weren't you supposed to come here with your guardian? It's been so hectic lately, people will keep turning up out of the blue.
He gave me the papers and left me at the gate. He must be used to that, though. I'm not the first novice here, am I?
But that wasn't very considerate of him, was it? It's been so hectic here lately, novices arriving one after the other. The last one didn't even have a letter, and you'd think his backside was on fire, the way he kept looking over his shoulder.
Wait, you let him in?
Took him without the letter? You didn't find that suspicious?
My guess is he wanted to hide from someone. But he's a priest and knows how things work in the monastery, so there was nothing to prevent him from being accepted, at least temporarily. You're a different case, though. Are you able to read?
Naturally. I wouldn't be here otherwise.
So then, are you ready to enter the Order of St. Benedict and renounce forever the temptations of this world?
Okay, it is Benedictine.
I am.
Then you must rid yourself of all your worldly possessions. Sell them or give them to the poor and needy or donate them to the monastery. You may not enter this place burdened by worldly goods. Inside the gatehouse is a trunk in which you will find monk's robes. Put away all your possessions and dress yourself in the habit. Then you may rest a while I go and see the prior to arrange matters for your acceptance. Good luck to you.
Okay. Let me get the robes from the gatehouse. What's that?
Strange feeling being without all of that. I didn't realise how much I'd grown used to it.
Oh. I assume I'm going to get my stuff back.
Everything's prepared. It's time for you to take your vows.
Do I really have to wear this?
You'd better get used to it. You'll be wearing it for the rest of your life.
I mean, not exactly. There are different robes for different degrees, I suppose. Huh. Right. This is chronologically quite late. I forgot this is like 16th century. Or 15th century? 16th century. So they would have polyphony. Polyphony was which, by the way, polyphonic chant, so harmonization basically, was a late development, a very late medieval development. This was not it was not common throughout the High Middle Ages. It's also typically improvisational, which is really fascinating. It's very cool.
Brothers in Christ, we have gathered here today to welcome a new novice into our midst. Dear brother, forget your former life and embrace your new vocation in the community of the monks of St. Benedict. Opus Dei, obedientia, obprobria, the service of God, obedience, and endurance of all discomfort. These are the cornerstones and succor of our order, which on this day shall become your own. Suscipe me, Domine, secundum eloquium tuum, et vivam, et non confundas me ab expectatione mea.
Suscipe me, Domine,
secundum.
He'll learn.
In loquium tuum vivam, et non confundas me ab expectatione me.
Accept your new name, Brother Gregor, and wear it with honor.
So the Benedictine order
Welcome,
is known
brother.
particularly for the preservation and the celebration of Gregorian chant. Henry's not good at this. He's not cut out to be a Benedict for the Benedictine order. Achievement unlocked. Monk. Of course.
Welcome,
Let's see how
brother.
this goes.
I am Antonius, a novice like you. I've been instructed to guide you around the monastery and tell you what you can expect and what your duties will be.
Thanks for helping me out during the ceremony. I had no idea what I was supposed to do.
You don't know Latin, do you? Don't worry. Work in the scriptorium will teach you fast enough. Why exactly are you here? Was it your choice? Or did someone force you to come?
It was my choice. For a common lad like me, it's the easiest way to get an education and do something worthwhile with my life.
It looks like we're both here for the same reason.
Solid.
I think we'll get along.
Would you tell me something about yourself?
I'm a novice and I'm here because I'd make a poor merchant. I like books and I want an education. Although I must say, so far the monastic life's been quite unexpected.
How so?
Let's go then.
Good. But before we do, here's a letter directly from the prior telling you all your regular duties from tomorrow onwards. Make sure to read it this evening so you know how things work. Right, we can go now. Follow me closely. I'll explain everything as we go.
Okay.
Remember one word: discipline. It's your job to work and pray. You serve the Lord now, not your own bodily needs.
Why is it telling me there is a tourney in Rattay? I don't think I can go and do that tomorrow. I will also say, though, the layout of this monastery is actually very similar to the abbey, the abbey at St. Leo, where I
This
teach
is the way to the
and go
dormitory,
to mass quite often.
where we all sleep. You'll find a free bed there, which is now yours.
Okay.
Do you know the first thing the monastery taught me? To appreciate sleep. We rise before dawn every day. Takes a bit of getting used to.
Yeah, okay, to be fair, that would take some getting used to for me as well. I'm not good at that. Not good at that at all. Oh, that's gorgeous.
This is the garden, a place for silent contemplation and meditation. Centuries ago, this monastery was founded by the most esteemed of brothers, Saint Procopius. His earthly remains can be found in a cave under the monastery, and his spirit wanders the corridors at night, punishing any misbehaving novices. So beware.
That doesn't seem likely.
Here are the frattery and scriptorium, together with the library. These are the places where we work. Ora et labora. Pray and work. As a novice, you must always listen to your superior brethren. And above us monks are the prior and the circassians, who punish every infraction. You'll know them by the canes they carry. Do what they say.
Okay.
This is the refectory, where we come together to eat. During meals, you must be silent. Only one brother reads aloud from the Rule of Saint Benedict.
The Rule is the only law we recognize, with the exception of those from God himself. If you break any of its precepts, expect a swift punishment. But I've already told you about the circuitous. The library, the pride of our monastery, a trove of learning. We don't just read books here, we also copy them. you too will learn how. And that's all. Today you are still free from duty, but tomorrow you begin work like the others. If you need anything, ask any of the brothers. We will be glad to help you. And I recommend you get to know the other novices. You already know me. Then there is Siskin, Yodok, and Lucas.
Thanks for showing me around. There's a lot to learn here.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's not much to tell. I lived in Vlashim, and after my father died, I found out I wasn't much of a merchant. So I left the shop to my brother and decided to become a monk. It's peaceful here. There's food and lots of time to read.
So you chose to come here?
It may seem strange, but I'm one of the few novices that did. I might be the only one. The truth is, the idea of spending my life in a monastery was more appealing than being cooped up in a greasy old shop.
Yes. Honestly, like, there are a lot of ways of life in this period that are far less appealing than monastic life.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery. Are there any rifts between the brothers?
Yes. From the moment talk began about electing a new abbot, it's been like a hornet's nest here. Strange you haven't noticed.
Tell me something about electing the abbot.
Abbot Peter is old. When he dies, they'll have to select a new abbot from amongst the brethren. The candidates are John and Nevlas. And if you ask me for my opinion, Nevlas is definitely the right man. Unfortunately, no one cares about my opinion because novices get no say.
Okay.
Who's in charge of things around here?
Truthfully, everyone except us. But officially, Abbot Peter. And soon enough, someone else. As if it mattered. Our life will still be work and prayer.
Already asked about that.
Tell me something about life here.
Work, prayer, as if you didn't know. We serve God, and that's the central truth of our lives.
What are the roles of the various monks here?
Someone takes care of the library, someone else the garden. The abbot supervises everyone, and in his absence, the prior. But it's the circators you should worry about. They're the brothers who'll make sure we observe the rule. They can be quite strict, so if you want to avoid getting punished, always act righteously and do your duties honestly.
It occurred to me you might be the man to ask. I'm looking for some lockpicks. Do you know anyone in the monastery who could help me?
It's a bad idea to ask.
Lockpicks? You surprise me, brother. And you, a nobleman's son. But you could ask Brother Salarius. They say he used to be a thief.
Okay. Wow, really? Should I just tell him? He won't know. No, this is a bad idea. Let's April Schism. Okay, read that. Okay. Fable of the Fox and the Jug. How the fox found a pitcher and how her pride and anger led to her death. Oh, this would be stealing. Wait, I can't just take them to read? That's dumb. How about this? What's this? Remedies for fleas and warts. Okay, fine.
The forbidden books must be in that cabinet.
Books stood in there aren't for your eyes to see.
Oh, okay. That's
What
fine.
would you like?
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. But I've no time for idle chat. I transcribe books from dawn till dusk. I've been doing it for years and I'll be doing it till the day I die.
What, you do nothing else?
It is my penance and my blessing. And now, brother, if you don't mind, I'd like to get this page finished.
Read that already. Silence. Let us act in accordance with that saying of the prophet. I have said, I will keep my ways, and I offend not with my tongue. I have been watchful over my mouth, and I held my peace, and humbled myself, and was silent from speaking even good things. If, therefore, according to the saying of the prophet, we are times to abstain for silence' sake, even from good talk, how much more ought we to refrain from evil words, on account of that guilt and penalty of sin? Therefore, because of the importance of silence, let leave to speak be seldom given, even to perfect disciples, although their words be of good and holy matters, tending into edification, because it is written, in much speaking thou shalt not escape sin, and in another place, death and life are in the hands of the tongue. For it behoveth a master to speak and teach, and it beseemeth a disciple to hold his peace and listen. If therefore anything must be asked of the prior, let it be done with all humility, subjection, and reverence, that he who asks may not seem to speak more than is necessary. But as for buffoonery, idle words, or such as move to laughter, we utterly condemn and forbid them in all places, nor do we allow a disciple to open his mouth to give them utterance. I mean, it is the potion. Interesting. It's not a vow of silence exactly. It's more like a vow against unnecessary unnecessary verbiage. Shut up unless you have something to say. Really. Not a skill I have, by the way, in case you've never noticed.
Someone really reeked of matins. You're right. It stunk like a wine barrel in there. And it's not the first time. It's a mystery, but one that will soon be solved. It's a wonder the prior doesn't check everyone's breath in the morning. Then he'd soon get his man.
Salve Domine.
It's not the first time.
It's a mystery.
The scriptorium. Oh. Let's see what we can make here, and let's see what we need to. I don't need Musketon from the lore. Absolutely not. Strengthen your blood. Strange visions. Strengthen warfare. No. Antidote, probably not necessary. Revolver's rage, not necessary. Digestive potion, probably not necessary. Cockerel. Useful. Stores energy. Yeah, Valerian 2 mint. Spirit. Okay. Spirits, 1 Valerian, 2 mint. Okay. Grind the mint. Boil the mint for 1 turn. Add Valerian and boil for 2 more. Okay. Distill. Can I auto brew this? No, I can't. Okay. Mint. How many of each? 2 mint. Okay. What's going on here? Do I not have... What? Why can't I do this? Cockerel. Okay, fine. How about savor shops? Wine 2 handfuls of belladonna and 1 of nettle. Boil the nettles for 2 turns. Grind the belladonna. Belladonna, boil for 1 more. I don't have belladonna. Marigold. I could use it, but I probably don't need to. Vacation. Merhoyed. Nighthawk. I can't. I don't have belladonna. I don't have her. Paris. Poison. No, why would I do that? Reserver. Don't need it. Lethian water. No, don't need it. Lullaby. Could be useful, but no. Hadfoot. Could use it, but I don't have cobwebs. Buck's blood. Don't need it. Vitalis. Definitely don't need it. Witch potion. Definitely don't need witch potion. I can't make... What is it? Cockerel. Oh, I'm neglecting my what? Oh, I need to go to bed, don't I? Start of day. Wow, okay. 9 is rest and nighttime curfew. Okay, well, that means I need to go to bed. Where's bed? Back here, right? I think. Yeah. This isn't right. I assume I need to go up. All right. Let's sleep till 3 a.m. Okay. Excuse me. I did not mean the bonk screen to go up. I was trying not to go up. Sorry. My bad. Anyway, yep, let's now this is gonna be a little more difficult. Trying to find information in between duties. Nevlas. Who is the one with the lockpicks?
Apart, Satanas.
What are you doing here?
Peace be with you, brother. Talk
Brother
to me, brother.
Solaris. Hi.
I'm looking for something a little unorthodox.
Bad
And
phrasing.
what would that be exactly?
Oh, nothing.
Never mind.
I'd like to ask you something about the monastery.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What are the
See what
roles
everyone
of the
does.
various monks here?
Well, the abbot is the head, but he's not here now. Then there's the prior and the sub-prior, the librarian, the porter, and many others. As a novice, you should be particularly mindful of the circuitors. They're the ones who maintain discipline and punish bad behavior.
Okay.
What can you tell me about the novices here?
What can I say? You're here to demonstrate your devotion to God and live a monastic life. After a year, you can make your vows and become a fully fledged brother.
I meant something specific about the brothers that are here.
But you know them yourself. Yodok is an odd one, but he's diligent and eager. Perhaps too eager. Siskin is good company, but a bit too worldly for a monk.
Okay.
Antonius is hardworking and will help with anything, but prays less than he ought. Lucas is as quiet as a mouse, and no one knows much about him. And then we have you, about who I know nothing.
Okay.
Can you leave the monastery?
Where would you go? You have everything you need here. Anyway, all the doors here are closed and locked tight, so no one can get in or out.
Just a little bit odd because monasteries, particularly Benedictine monasteries, were basically places of hospitality. So that's a little bit off.
Who would you like to be the new abbot?
The old abbot isn't dead yet. It's too early to talk about elections, but if I had to choose between the two who are already putting themselves forward, John would be my choice.
Okay.
Can you tell me something about the rule of St. Benedict?
7 centuries ago, Saint Benedict of Nursia wrote a collection of monastic rules, which we still follow today. They're read at every meal. The fundamental precepts are obedience, work, and prayer. We're fully devoted to serving God. The outside world, beyond the monastery walls, is foreign to us.
Do you never want to know what's going on out there?
And what should be going on? The sky is just as blue and the grass is just as green. Perhaps the rulers change, but the greatest ruler of them all will remain unchanged through the ages.
Amen.
I'm interested in the monastery's history.
It was founded by Saint Procopius 500 years ago. After his death, heretics occupied the place for some time, but then the order was restored and brothers of the true faith returned.
Heretics, you say?
Interesting.
They wanted to worship God with some foreign rituals. In a language foreign to God, they were driven away and their books burned.
What sort of heretics? Huh. Odd. Hold on. Let's see. No. 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 Fishing is Ujets. Shoot sword, my favorite punch me. Where's the... Darn it, I forget which monk was supposed to have been a thief at some point. My suspicion is on Brother Lucas. Nope. Well, he didn't have anything suspicious on his person, so I guess maybe not. Though, maybe still. Who knows? What is it? Yodok. Books. No. Nope. No. Let me see. What else I got? Okay, it's too dark. Never mind. Antonius has nothing on his person. That seems a little oddly suspicious to me. I mean, maybe it shouldn't, but it certainly does. Let me see. What else do I need to actually do? What's my next thing I need to do? 4 a.m. morning prayer. Okay. 6 a.m. meal. I have time in between there. Is it right now? Oh, it's almost 4 a.m. Okay. Probably should get going, huh? Ah. How am I neglecting my schedule? Forget which monk it was. It was supposed to have been a thief. Is it Nicholas? No. Not the librarian, clearly. Huh. I don't have a torch either. All right. I have a lockpick. This is an absolutely gorgeous monastery. Though I'm also utterly lost.
I'm Gregor, a novice. I saw you at the ceremony.
I know. It was hard not to notice you.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
You are?
Lucas, also a novice. Don't get upset, but I don't want to talk to you. I'm happiest alone.
I'm suspicious of that.
I'd like to know something about the other novices.
I don't know much, but ask away.
Tell me about Antonius.
I'd like to, but there's nothing to tell. I've never spoken to him. I've never asked about him.
Interesting. Okay.
Will you tell me something about yourself?
There's nothing I can tell you.
I mean, where you're from, what sort of life you had before, that sort of
Are you a priest?
I'm a novice, and my monastic name is Lucas. Nothing else
Are
matters.
you a priest? How about that? Can you ask that?
Is there really nothing at all you can tell me?
I could, but I don't want to. I'm sorry. I want to stay focused on work and prayer, not on who I once was.
I'm
I
really
never will be
suspicious of this
again.
guy.
What has been isn't important for us. We cast the past aside when we walked through the monastery gates and took our oath. Never forget that.
Okay.
I'd like to ask you something about the Well, that's all.
Never mind. Okay, fine. Yoda.
Greetings, brother. I'm Gregor, and I'm new here.
Greetings to you, brother. I'm Yodok, the oldest of the novices. I hope you'll like it here in the monastery and that you won't get into trouble.
Oldest, huh?
Trouble?
Means he's
You're
been here a
young,
while.
perhaps intemperate. You might easily stray from the rules of the order. I suggest you get to know the older monks. You never know when it might come in handy.
Okay.
I'm interested in the other novices. I'm interested in Lucas.
Nobody knows much about Lucas. He keeps himself to himself. If you ask me, he's got something to hide.
Either this is a
Keep well clear of
really
him,
serious
piracy.
red herring,
Do you have any
or
grounds for
it's
suspecting him of
Lucas.
something?
He's pious.
Quite a lot. And also none at all. The circuitous who make the rounds despise him, and they'd never punish anyone without cause.
Okay.
Do you know anything about Antonius?
Only that he came to the monastery voluntarily, because he didn't want to work in his father's shop. Antonius is all right. You can rely on him. He won't betray your confidence. He's
So I
always
should
happy
ask him
to
about
help,
pious.
which is more than can be said for the other brothers.
Can you tell me something about yourself?
I would if there was anything noteworthy to say. But I'm just the ordinary son of a landowner, now a monk. There's nothing in my past, present, or future that anyone could find interesting.
Why did you join the monastery?
Because it was better than living in poverty. As the youngest son, I'm not entitled to inherit my father's estate, but he was kind enough to sell off some cattle and send me here. And you know what? I'm glad to be here. It's better than mucking out manure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll grant you that. Okay, let's go to mass. And fall down the stairs. You idiot. Hey, Siskin.
My name's
Talk to you
Gregor,
yet.
a novice.
You can call me Siskin. Now, are you here of your own free will, or is this a punishment? Although, it's not important. Welcome to Purgatory.
Did you say purgatory?
I mean, sort of.
You'll see soon enough. Soon enough.
I mean,
will you tell me something about yourself?
Purgatory is the
Look,
remission
nothing
of temporal
against you,
punishment due to
but
sin,
I
which,
prefer
I
not
mean,
to talk about
yeah.
my past.
Are you hiding something? Why are you so reluctant to tell me anything about yourself?
I'm hiding a lousy past that I'd rather forget. I hate to think of all I lost when they stuck me in here. And also because I really hate the question, aren't you the son of the famed Sir Smil Flashka of Pardubitz? I was rich and I had everything. But then my father began to feel his time approaching, so he decided to send a son to the monastery. And, being the youngest, the lot fell on me. I've no head for managing the estate, and they said I'd squander it. Can you imagine? Me in a monastery. So I took what coin I could from home with me, so I didn't lose out completely.
Interesting.
They must have realized you robbed them.
I donated some of the silver to the monastery when I came in, just to piss them off. I can just see my my siblings, arguing with the abbot to give it back.
And you stashed away the remainder?
Indeed so.
Interesting.
What's your plan with this treasure?
To get out of here as soon as I can. I'll wait another year or two until my hot-headed brothers cool off a bit, and then I'll take the silver and run off somewhere, far, far away from here.
That's all I wanted to know.
Okay.
Please, keep it to yourself, especially the part about the coin.
I'd be interested to hear...
Let's see. How about
Can
Lucas?
you tell me about Lucas?
It's a tricky situation with Lucas. No one really knows anything about him. I've tried so many times to talk to him, but he always backs away like a virgin on a wedding night.
Does a virgin back away on her wedding? I don't know. Okay.
Tell me about Antonius.
Odd.
Oh, if there was a monk I'd recommend as a friend, with of course the exception of myself, it would be Antonius. He has a calm soul, he's easy to talk to, and you can always rely on him.
I'm interested in Yodok.
What could interest you about him? He's a no-good rat. He'll turn you in for the price of a turnip. I'd bet my life that if he wasn't here, he'd be a cumin scout, bowing and scraping for a few groschen.
That doesn't sound too flattering.
It wasn't meant to. No matter what you do here, watch out for him. He's got his eye on everyone, and he'll rat on you for even the slightest of infractions.
That's
okay.
Cool.
To Mass. It's this way. Do I have a particular spot? I should assume right here, right? Right? Not screwing this up, right? Go to church for prayer and mass. Yeah.
Can't you see we're at mass?
Are we... Okay. Anyway. Trying to see exactly... Really hope I'm not screwing something up here by, standing in mass. Although, are we at mass? There's no mass being said. That's odd. Or being sung, I would thought. I would have thought that mass would be sung, and that would be a thing that they would. First of all, game design wise, I would think that would be a thing that they would put through, like a truncated version of the Benedictine Rite Mass, especially because this is actually something worth noting. The Benedictines have their own rite of the Mass, distinct from the Roman Rite, which it's very similar. It's very, very similar to the Roman rite of the Mass, but it is it's its own rite technically. The most notable distinction being that there is no kneeling, that there's standing, and in the modern version of it there's sitting because with pews. But at this point it was purely standing. There was no kneeling in Mass. There was only standing and bowing before the Eucharist. And so it's distinct in that way, and also a couple of things in the order of the Mass are slightly different than the Roman Rite, but it is its own technically its own rite, just due to the sort of antiquity of the Benedictine order, which is a cool little distinction that doesn't make too much of a difference. Should I just wait? Meal is at 6, but I don't know. In any case, that's. I'm interested in the various liturgical rites, and I like I said, I've said this before. I usually, maybe a third or quarter of the time, go to a Benedictine Rite Mass, because the what is it? I suppose maybe that's where I teach. I teach at St. Leo University, which is a Benedictine monastery, abbey, and university, and so we have monks. We have a monastic order there, and they have Mass daily as well as on Sundays, and that's right adjacent to our regular parish, and so we'll either go to our regular parish or we'll sometimes go to the abbey, and I will say the abbey is beautiful. The Abbey Church is gorgeous. I don't know if it's not quite this. Well, actually, there's a lot to it. It is it's a wood structure rather than a stone structure like this. But it does have these picture windows, although all of the picture windows in our abbey are stained glass of various saints that are significant to the order. Excuse me. Very nice. It's very, very nice. It's gorgeous. Let's wait, shall we? So almost 6, because I know meal time is at 6. The communal meal is at 6 a.m. But it's not 6 a.m. yet. Okay, maybe not. Oh. Brother Porter. Oh, sorry, Brother
Peace be
Librarian.
with you, brother.
And with your spirit. Also, Mass would not be said at 5 a.m. Or 4 a.m., sorry. That'd be sext? I forget the full liturgy of the hours. But they would be the monks would be traditionally doing the liturgy of the hours, and so there would be a morning prayer, not mass. Mass would be at traditionally noon, I think. Here we go. Yeah, so mass would traditionally be at noon, not before dawn. Let me talk to Antonius before we go. Antonius.
What troubles you?
I'd like to ask you something.
Okay. Let's
I'd be interested to hear what you think.
Let's ask him about the other novices first.
I'm interested in Lucas.
No one knows much about him. He doesn't talk to anyone. He works, eats, sleeps, then does it all again the next day. It's as if he wanted to get it all over with as soon as possible. By it, I mean his entire life.
Huh. Interesting.
What can you tell me about Siskin?
That there's no man alive less suitable for the monastic
Why can't I just ask if anyone's a priest?
You don't know young Lord Capon.
I've heard things. Siskin must have been like him. Fighting, drinking, fornicating. But then he ended up in here.
Why is he in the monastery?
No one knows. Maybe he's hiding from something. Or maybe he's being punished.
Do you think he has a secret?
The former. And he does.
Don't we all? But unlike the others, he absolutely refuses to speak about his life before the monastery.
That's all I wanted to know. What about Yodok?
Be on good terms with him. If you show even the slightest hint you don't like him, he'll make your life hell. He's a slimy little pedant who'll rat you out to the superiors. Once he finishes his novitiate, I imagine he'll want to climb his way up the ladder to at least Sir Cater. He's a man who enjoys ordering others around.
That's all. Thanks.
Well, that's not a... I do want to tell Antonius about my search for Pius, but... Gosh, what else do I need to do? Nicholas?
I'm Gregor, a novice.
I know. I saw you at the ceremony. My name is Neblis, and I'm the provost here. I'm in charge of the monastery's property, as well as handling trade with the outside world.
That means you get to leave the monastery?
No, not at all. I just write lists and send them out.
Tell me about yourself.
I'm the provost of this monastery. It's my job to ensure the monks live a humble life and that any surpluses go to the poor. But in reality, I spend all my time making sure my brother's gluttony and the construction of a new church don't swallow up the few resources we have left.
Is there anything I could help with?
You know, there is. Perhaps you've heard that Abbot Peter is gravely ill. I'm interested in medicine, and I know there's a cure for the abbot's ailment. With your help, I could find out the details, and together you and I could give old Peter a few more years to do good. What do you say?
Of course.
What do you need me for?
In order to get the recipe for this medicament, a few rules will need to be broken. Now, you know, most of the brothers believe every illness is a message from God, and that it's not our place to deny his will. I, however, think if God sent us not just illnesses, but also the medicine to cure them, then it's our duty to relieve people of their suffering.
That is a far more
Abbot Peter's
common
could be
monastic
contained in
view
one
of
of
the
the
matter.
books in our library, but it will certainly be amongst the libri prohibiti, the forbidden books, those we aren't permitted to read.
Why are they forbidden?
Because they contain occult and demonic practices, witchcraft and all manner of evil. Or so some people claim. It's nonsense, of course. This is nothing but a book of medicine, albeit one written by a pagan. Ibn Sina, also known as Avicenna, is universally acknowledged to be a wise man.
Restricted in the
But
15th
here, at some
century.
point, someone
Or
decided
16th
his
century.
book was the work of a Saracen devil and must be kept under lock and key. Since then, no one can even talk about the book.
I mean, I don't
The
know.
three wise
By the
men were
16th century,
from
maybe.
they're not?
Not in the, I mean, I don't, again, this is slightly outside my period, because I would know certainly that in the 13th century, the works of Avicenna were well read, well respected, and well circulated. Read by monks, read by scholars, in some cases read just by courtiers. His works were very well known.
Where can I find it?
In the library, there's a large cabinet with a lock on it. The forbidden books are inside. You'll easily recognize what you're looking for. The cover has not only a Latin inscription, but also Saracen letters.
Okay.
Bring it to me, but leave the other books there. No one will notice if one book disappears, but if more were to vanish, someone would certainly begin to look into it, which is exactly what we don't want.
Okay.
Is there anything you can tell me that would help?
There's a key to the cabinet in the prior's chambers. The librarian should have another one, or you can acquire some lockpicks. But I can't tell you where or how. Perhaps Brother Salarius could help.
Okay, Brother Salarius.
I'm ready.
One more important thing. There's always someone in the library during the day. To pass unwatched, you'll need to go at night. It's locked, but I'm sure you'll manage to get in. They say Brother Salarius understands locks, but don't tell him why you need it. Once you have the book, bring it to me, and I'll then use it to make Peter's medicine. We'll soon have the election of the abbot over and done with.
Okay. Brother Salarius. Okay, let's go to eat.
As this, he will incur the punishment due to murmurers, unless he amend and make satisfaction.
Brother?
The rule of Saint Benedict.
Stealing is a
Reading
sin.
from the abbot.
You should know
What?
that as a Christian, and certainly as a monk.
What happened?
Even if I wanted to forgive you, I couldn't. Thou shalt not steal.
That is to say, he should show them all that is good.
What happened?
Very well, brother. I accept my punishment.
When did I steal?
Now, show me what you have on you. I must confiscate anything that is not allowed in the monastery.
What did I lose? What did I steal? Oh god, 22 hours. Jesus. Wait, was this about the herbs? That didn't, those weren't marked stolen. Huh. That's odd. Very odd. Why did I put everything down that I stolen? Maybe I goofed something up there. I didn't think I was seen either. Odd. Very odd. All right, well, the next day, let's try again. It is basically midnight, though, so I think we are going to have to, I'm going to have to save. We are going to have to wrap it up for the night.
While I was locked up, someone was making quite a racket in the cellar. Blind drunk, I'm sure of it.
Interesting.
I wonder what's been going on. I'm Gregor, and I'm new here.
Sir Gator John.
I know. I saw you in the church during the ceremony. I have a feeling we'll be meeting again soon, and often. You see, I'm a Sacator.
What does that mean?
I make sure everyone observes the rule, does their work, and that everything is the way it should be.
When it's not the way it should be?
Then we're authorized to mete out punishment. But certainly you won't require correction, will you, brother?
Apparently. No, let's not do that.
I found this piece of parchment. It looks like it's been ripped out of a book.
The words mean nothing to me. Ask in the library.
Okay, I guess I will. That's all. Stibor. Let's wash. All right. That's all the time we have. I might spend a little bit of time going through and exploring the monastery, doing some stuff off stream, but probably not. Probably I will we'll do probably all of this, hopefully all of this next week. So that'll be next Wednesday. So my plan again is to hopefully wrap up the monastery segment next Wednesday. And we will otherwise I will see you guys on Monday for more Mass Effect Andromeda. And in between there, I hopefully will have another video out, the one I've been talking about, recording about Star Trek and talking about the Prime Directive, and talking about Enterprise. Time permitting, we'll see when I manage to record that. It should hopefully be out sometime this weekend, by this weekend, maybe next week. We'll have to wait and see. Keep a lookout for it, look forward to it. And otherwise, I will see you guys next week on Monday, once again, for Mass Effect Andromeda, and again, next Wednesday, picking up right here where we leave off. If in the meantime, you feel like donating, helping me continue doing what I'm doing here, if you like what I'm doing and want to help me keep doing it, feel free to donate right down there to ko-fi.com/Professor McCoy. I absolutely appreciate anything you can, anytime you can. So, with that, I'll see you all next time, and remember, don't be safe, be well, and more importantly, be good. Good night, everybody.